you said you've seen parents.
Yes.
A numerous of different types of parents. Advice to a parent who wants more for their child.
Right.
But doesn't quite understand how to navigate the educational system to the point where they think they know, but they really don't.
Gotcha.
So how do we help those parents really make good decisions for their kids? Like what are some key things that they should take into?
That's a good question.
Yeah, that is a good question. And I'm glad you phrased it that way. You said because parents that want more, right? And I think starting there, the parent needs to pause and self-assess. Wants more than what?
Welcome back to Relationship Status. It's your girl, Nique Cruz.
Hi, guys. It's Professor T.
And your boy, Yusuf in the building. And remember, you can find us on all podcast platforms. Remember to like, share, follow, and 5-star rate. Hey, y'all heard it. We don't even have to do it. After a 2-year stint, maybe 3, Professor T.
2.785.
2.785. Yeah. Professor T is back. What is
Get
going on?
Get the audience going.
Oh, there we go. Welcome back.
Thanks, guys. Thank y'all so much. I actually missed you guys. I missed being
You have
here.
been missed.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Listen, the fans, we lost fans when we lost you.
Whatever.
No, dead serious. Numbers took a dip for a while. We had to recover.
Oh, my.
Yes.
Yeah, you've been missed.
Yeah, you've been missed. You had a following. Know that we were asked almost weekly up until about a year ago. When is she coming back?
I'm going to reach back out to my people and be like, y'all, come on back. Come on back and listen and follow and support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're just happy to have you back on.
There's been nobody like you.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, guys. Yeah. It's so special. And I know it's genuine, so I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't, I think we only had one replacement, and that lasted for a little while.
Yeah,
she was good.
yeah.
Jaren.
Yeah, she was great.
She was great.
Awesome.
And then after that, it just couldn't find nothing else quite click. Nothing else fit.
It was okay, but it was nobody like you.
Oh, gosh.
It was definitely like you.
Nobody like you.
I feel the love. To all the people listening, just know that I'm smiling.
Now, only if
here.
CL was here.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to CL, everybody.
Yeah, you didn't let me do the little CL Butler, as he likes to do.
Oh, yeah. You should do that. It's C.O. Butler.
A CL Butler. Yeah, he's going to be like, so that's how it sound? That's how it sound to you?
Exactly like that. Just like that.
So what's been going on?
Let's see. Things have been great. Life has been good. I know a lot of times when y'all ask me that, I start with work. So I don't want to start with work. Obviously, I've been working. You know, we have to work to make a living. Mm-hmm. But, okay, I have been enjoying gardening.
Hello.
Right? Mm-hmm. So okra is like my favorite summer vegetable. So I planted lots of okra, cucumbers, watermelon, squash, zucchini, tomatoes, and I did some herbs.
Did everything.
The legal herbs.
Yeah. Did everything.
Everything except the watermelon. Like the watermelon got to maybe the size of a newborn baby's head and then it just stopped. So it's still there and I don't want to pluck it yet, right? Because I keep telling myself that it's going to expand, but it's probably not because it's just sitting there. But everything else did a great job.
And have you cooked and eaten?
Absolutely. 100%.
I was about to say, what kind of herbs do you have?
I
love okra.
Thank you.
Okra is. I like the flavor of okra, but it's the sliminess of it.
It's the way you cook it.
Exactly. All of it does not have to be slimy.
Yeah, you have to know how to cook it. Like cut it up and put it in a dry pan and go ahead and like kind of saute it, and that dries up.
That's it.
That dries up the.
I'm not saying I can't. I'm just saying I won't.
You're just saying you're not interested.
Yeah, I'm not
like
interested.
seriously, it's so good.
No, the flavor is good.
Like
I ate it. I made some the other night.
Okay. How did you cook it? How did you prepare it?
Well, I had it with steamed fish with some Jamaican steamed red snapper.
Okay.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
Oh my gosh, it was.
That sounds good.
So
Where
you
get your
do
red
eat
snapper
okra.
from?
Harris Teeter. Best cuts of red snapper you can
Really?
get. Yep. They got the whole red snapper and they got the fillets. And me, I don't want to do that much work, so I just got the fillets, put it in a pan, put it over some peppers, bell peppers, okra. I got the spicy Jamaican peppers. I put about 2 of them in there.
Have y'all eaten dinner yet? Because like this is definitely
It's
I hear
definitely.
my stomach growling over here. That sounds
Cause I was about to say
amazing.
they got some at the farmers market.
Yeah, nah, they got some good cuts. So
Okay.
if you ever need the seafood, good spot to get it from. People, a lot of people know, but a lot of people don't. Harris Teeter got some good fresh cut seafood, so
Nice.
it was really good.
Thanks for the plug.
Nah, no problem. I don't mean to plug Harris Teeter, but yeah, they didn't pay us for that. So
Right.
That was
right.
free.
Free advertising.
That was the only free one you're gonna get.
But yeah, gardening, reading, writing. Of course, y'all know I have a tight circle and we travel. And so hanging out with my girls, prioritizing self-care, spending time with grandma and mama and nieces and nephews. Yeah, just enjoying life.
That's great. How is... No, you talk about grandma a lot.
Yes, I
on
do.
social media.
I do.
I do love the back and
stories
forth,
that I tell.
stories
Yes,
of you
the
and
stories
grandma.
you be like, oh,
Like,
grandma got a little shade to her.
Oh, and it comes so naturally. Like she doesn't even try. And she's never trying to throw shade, but her natural disposition is, she's so witty and her comebacks are so strong. And if somehow you would think that I would be used to it, but she surprises me every single time. Like I was there before I came here. So I stopped by there and I don't know what it is about elderly, black women, but they're just so obsessed with size and weight. I don't know about any of y'all's family.
Like, oh, you been eating good.
Yes.
no,
So
yeah.
she likes to say that, but what she said was, that size you is right there. That's it right there. Don't get no bigger than that. That's good right there. You can pause it right there.
Be like, gracious,
Like,
now I'm
really,
scared to eat dinner.
Oh, no, not me. But yeah, so just hilarious, funny, 92 years old, still just
Oh,
sharp,
wow.
witty, very comedic. She's the matriarch of the family. And yeah, just my oldest bestie. If
Your
you
oldest
will.
bestie.
My oldest bestie.
Well, that's cool.
Well, welcome back. What about you?
Back. You do me on that. My
Should be ready. You already know what's coming.
Well, here's the thing. Like, Lil Debbie didn't do what she was supposed to do.
What was she supposed to do?
Debbie was supposed to have me out of work today.
Yeah, I understand.
Debbie only had me out of work Wednesday and Thursday. That's why she went from Big Debbie to Little Debbie.
Gotcha.
I didn't, no roads happened, the lights didn't
So
go
you're
out.
disappointed that Debbie didn't do.
I'm disappointed
a little
that
bit more
Debbie
damage.
didn't do
A little bit more.
a little bit more.
A little more shaking.
Like, I don't want for anybody to lose their life. I don't want anybody to lose their homes.
Okay.
I don't want none of that.
Not a lot of damage, just a little light flicker.
Just enough for us to be
flood.
like, yeah, a little flood here and there that the buses can't roll.
Yeah.
Once the buses can't roll, we
That's
out.
it. Yeah.
Then it's a wrap.
Then it's
Yeah.
a wrap. So they sent out a memo saying, we checked the bus routes. There are some routes that are closed, so we'll be making some alternate stops. I was like, no, you need to stop. Like, don't even roll.
It's Friday.
Just give us
What's
the
one more
weekend.
day?
That's,
Yeah.
that's
See you
the
on
thing.
Monday.
See you Monday.
Right.
Like, why bring me back for? Well, I understand as an educator, they don't want to make these days up, and I get
But
it.
how if we're
But
doing
we was on
e-learning?
e-learning anyway.
Exactly.
So I'm like,
These days don't have to be made up.
you could have just had me on e-learning.
And it's not like a corporation where you're losing money if people aren't in the building. So yeah, you're right.
So that's what I'm saying. But other than that, it's been a good week. Nothing really to tell. The young man is. Let me say this. I put him in IB. He's in IB 6th grade.
Wow.
How does he like it?
He comes home. At first, it was an adjustment for him because the reason I put him in IB was work was just, we had him in the gifted and talented class. And literally every day he would come home. I'd be like, where your homework? I did it already.
Wow.
Not challenged at all.
Even in GT.
But I mean,
Even
like
in
that's
GT, there was,
okay.
like,
but even
no
as he gets
challenge.
older, he may have been challenged.
Yeah, well-
Not saying I'm against IB program.
Well-
I just learned it is not for everybody.
Oh, no, it's not for everybody, but I think, if you're going to do it, I think you do it early and find out if they can match
Yeah.
it. And so what I learned about him is for some odd reason, he didn't end up getting all the summer work. Well, no, it was because he didn't have a Chromebook. They took his Chromebook at the end of the year.
Okay.
So they put out all the summer work for IB kids. So you could imagine what that is.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. So he said, Dad, I got my Chromebook and I got all the assignments. And so we went to the teachers. The teacher said, well, that's an excuse, so we'll give you extra time. So when we got home, I said, look, we don't do extra time. So we're going to get it done. And if we need extra time,
Then we'll use it.
We'll use it. So he had a project for science, one for math, one for English. He had a theater one. So he's sitting there with the science when he's frustrated.
And what grade is he in?
6. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
So
That's a lot.
Saturday was a work day. So he did his science project. Then he did the math project. And then he looked at the English project, and it was an extensive book report. He was like, yeah, I'm going to come back to that. And then we started the theater project. So he did that, but then Monday hit, and so he had homework for each class. And then Tuesday, he has homework for each class. So we're trying to fit in the work. So he's finished Wednesday, we finished. This is hilarious. So his oldest sister, Niara, she's a theater major at Howard.
Okay.
And
Hey.
HBCU.
yep,
Right?
on full scholarship, let me say. Full
Hello.
theater
Good job.
scholarship.
Congratulations.
The Felicia Rashad School. So so he's got to do this assignment where he got to watch Frozen. Daddy, I hate this movie. And then in it, the teacher, it was an ed puzzle, so the teacher has these little questions throughout, and he gets to a question that talks about sets. How do you think these sets were made? He puts the thing down and says, I don't know. I said, son, I said, you have one of the best resources anybody can have.
Right.
I said, call your sister. Oh.
In that moment, he was just frustrated.
Yeah, and then so he calls her, and so needless to say, he finished all his projects except for he halfway finished. The deadline was today. He halfway finished the English one, and so his teacher said he could get till Monday.
Okay,
to
good
do
stuff.
it. So
That's good.
yeah, he's like I said, he'll do whatever he's challenged with, and that's the thing. I like the fact that he'll meet the challenge. Like it's not he'll get frustrated at first. He'll say I don't know, and then it's like okay. Then he gets to it. Once he gets it, it's off to the races. So
How are you making sure that I guess he still has this balance of enjoying
life
being
and work
a kid?
balance.
yeah, well that's the thing. Like
Because I'm gonna be honest with you, anybody I've ever grew up with in IB, they did not enjoy it.
well the plan for me with IB is not for him to have IB in high school.
Okay.
The plan for him as soon as he gets to high school is to go dual credit. So
That makes sense.
yeah, because I'm only using this in this moment for middle school so that he continues to be challenged all throughout middle school, and it kind of builds that it makes his brain kind of keep going and keep growing. Because he wants to be a high school athlete, and I
Right.
know high school athletes and IB don't mix.
They don't at all.
It just don't mix.
I mean, like they're supposed to be
able, yeah,
an athlete as well because that's a part of their curriculum.
yeah.
But
They got kids. They got like I had 2 kids. There was 2 kids, I think, on one of the teams last year that were IB, and them kids would be on the bus reading books, like thick books, and doing work in the locker room before the game, and like will not to the last second be doing work. So I
Yeah,
don't
it
want
gets
him to
stressful.
go through that.
Yeah.
But I do think as a middle schooler he can use now, and if it doesn't work, it's nothing to 7th grade to take him out. You just put him in regular honors classes.
I appreciate you saying that because what I've found is some parents, I think that they get so excited that their children are eligible for IB. Now, mind you, some of these parents, they've never been even in honors, and that's not no shade or anything, but I know some students that will try IB and they'll tell their parents, you know what, I tried it, I don't want to do it, it's too stressful. And parents will still, make them. I think that's where, and I know it's a controversial topic because some parents will be like, well, I know what's best for my child.
But do we?
Well, exactly. Because
your child is not going to show you. They're not going to want to disappoint you.
Which is true, but I think that sometimes as parents, sometimes you don't know.
Sometimes you don't know.
Because like you're putting your child, like I put him in IB, right? If he ever gets to the point where I see he's struggling academically, I'm not going to say, hey, you have to do more.
Right.
Because I know my child as one he does try hard. So if he's not getting it, then that means that, okay, this level might have been too high.
Well,
so
good question.
Let's take it a step back.
Is it something you introduced to him? Like, hey, do you think you would like to do this? Or you would like, I'm putting you in this?
No, I told him he's going in it.
And see, that could be
I think his.
I'm sorry, I didn't need to.
No, that's fine. No, because I think here's the thing with me and kids and decisions.
No, because like Carly wanted to do it. And I had to like let her sit down with other kids who are currently in IB and her godmother that she got out of IB her junior year and like let her talk to her like, It's a lot of work. You're not going to have a life.
And me personally, at the high school level.
No, this middle school.
No, see, to me, at the high school level, I was speaking more so to that. The reason why I won't let them do it in high school is it doesn't give you any kind of advantage.
But see, in middle school, it doesn't either, and it separates you.
Well, see, here's the thing. I don't mind the separation. As a sixth grader, I don't mind the separation as he's trying to transition from elementary school to middle school with kids that he does not know. And a lot of the kids that came from his school, because the elementary school he was at is not zoned for this particular middle school. So a lot of the kids that was in his class, in his gifted and talented class that he knew, are in IB. So it helps the transition. I thought more so in a global setting of him, because now
it won't be such a culture shock.
Yeah, it won't be. He kind of could get eased into middle school life. And if we have to take a step back, at least he has a core set of friends there. And then we take a step back to honors. And it's kind of the in-between.
Right.
Which I think he can handle with no problem. But then 7th grade, he's going to be playing basketball. So he'll be ingratiating himself into another circle of friends. And I just wanted him to gradually make that, because I'm going to be honest, like at that school, there needs to be some separation. It needs to be some separation.
That you guys have a plan and that you're talking about it and you're including him on the dialogue so that he can have a voice in the path for him. And I know some people feel like, I'll tell my child what he or she is going to do. But I guess, being in education for 20 plus years, and I've seen all kinds of models. I've seen the school within the school, and I've seen parents put so much pressure on their children, and children feel the pressure. And at the end of the day, after being a college graduate, nobody asks, where did you get your degree from?
No, they don't.
They really don't. No, they don't care. It doesn't matter.
Grand Canyon,
in the grand scheme of things. So I just appreciate children having a balance, especially now that, your social emotional well-being is not just a buzzword, but like as adults, we talk about taking care of ourselves and self-care, and it
not
starts
putting too much on ourselves.
Exactly. So in the same way, I used to get on, kids, and I'd say, did you do your homework when you got home? And the reality is the first thing that I do when I get home
is not homework.
It's not homework or any type of work like that.
Yeah.
Right? I am getting comfortable. I'm relaxing. Bra off. Comfort, moo-moo, bonnet,
And then I'll sit down and say, okay, what else do I need to do?
Yes.
Well, I will say this. I think I've kind of started to compartmentalize so that I can balance better, to be a better example for him. If it's work, I do that at work. I'm not doing nothing at the house work-wise. If it's podcasting, I have time set out for Crux Media podcasting stuff, whatever I got to do. That time is cut out. And then I make sure that I have time to sit down, because we sit down and eat dinner. It's just me and him now. So me and him sit down and have dinner each night. We'll sit to the table.
I do that too.
And talk. And
I think
talk
that's
or
sweet.
whatever.
I think, you have conversation, talk about your day and stuff like that. Kind of gives them a little outlet. Like, this what happened, da-da-da-da. But I also call my kids when they get out of school so I can, what happened today?
I love it.
But yeah, I don't care for the separation, because like I said, like my best friend, because we went into, elementary school to middle school. They're all the way up. They have a different lunch. They have a different place. They go outside. And she felt it as in, like, she was around a group of people she could not relate to. Academic-wise, yes. But life-wise, no.
Well, I think now they have it. It's not the lunch. They sit, like, whatever class they're into.
Yeah, they sit with their class.
They sit with their class. And so they have their electives during that time. So that, like, one of the classes is keyboarding, and one of the classes he has, one is keyboarding, and then one class is video game design. So
being in IB, does he have all of his classes with other students that are in IB as well?
No.
Okay. So there's some inclusivity.
Yeah, the class, the video game design and theater class is
awesome
with with
okay,
everybody.
That's good. So he has a bit of
yeah, and then he has gym class.
Everything.
Yeah, because he says, because like his IB classes is like 4 or 5 kids, maybe 6 in the class. And then I think his science, math, English, his social studies class, those 4 classes are IB. And then
his electives
are
That's good. That's good.
So he gets the inclusivity of that. And like I said, once he starts with basketball and those other things,
I think when you start to do that, I think you are gonna back down and just put him in honors classes.
Well, no, I think the second I see him start to struggle, The second
it's
he
not
can't
that
find
he's going to struggle, because I don't think he's going to struggle. Because I think you're going to push him. And when I say not in a bad way, like he knows he got to come. He got to come with something. Yeah. But
you think Coach English is going to be like,
yeah, I think it's going to be like where he's going to want to, and it's going to be like, it's not going to be about. I'm letting you know it's not going to be a balance.
But that's why I said when he gets to high school, we're going dual credit, because dual credit will allow him, especially his junior and senior year, to not be in a traditional classroom. Mm-hmm. He'll be doing online classes for the most part for college credit, which the way it's if you can graduate early. If you do it from day one, you can not only graduate early, but you graduate as a sophomore.
Right.
I don't like that. I told my my daughter's friend, because she went to graduate after, no. Because I said, what are you doing after you graduate? Mm-hmm. And she was like, oh, I'm going to go to cosmetology school. No. Take your 2 years, your junior and senior year, and let the school pay for cosmetology. And that way, when you graduate, you not only have finished all your classes, because you're going to get early dismissal anyway. And
we ain't doing
the school,
we gonna
and the school is going to be paying for.
No, that's smart.
Yeah. Your education.
I told her they got all kinds of stuff. So
yeah, they got all
his senior year. I want him to take his junior senior year. I want him to take barbering.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So he can be, because my thing is we're gonna be making that money when we get to college. We get to college.
That's what I told her.
Every dorm need a barber.
Because if you're gonna still wait 2 years, cause I think they have like a time. You can't just go enter college at a certain age.
Yeah, you can.
You can?
If you're eligible, you can.
I thought with certain ones you weren't able to, 16 or whatever. But I told her, you might as well go ahead and go with your peers. Because you being 16 years old, you going on campus, they're going to be grown men. Grown men, your brain ain't there yet.
And it's not just about whether or not you can handle the academics. It's about whether or not you're mature enough
to handle your surroundings.
College life.
Because you can go to each class. You can do class online. But when you get into that environment where it just look like everybody free and you still got to go home.
A whole new world.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to bring it back to something that you brought up, Professor T. You said you've seen parents.
Yes.
A numerous of different types of parents. Advice to a parent who wants more for their child.
Right.
But doesn't quite understand how to navigate the educational system to the point where they think they know, but they really don't.
Gotcha.
So how do we help those parents really make good decisions for their kids? Like what are some key things that they should take into?
That's a good question.
Yeah, that is a good question, and I'm glad you phrased it that way. You said because parents that want more, right? And I think starting there, the parent needs to pause and self-assess. Wants more than what?
I think they don't know. Like that's the
point. That's where you start with the self-assessment. As a parent, when you feel like I want more for my child, are you saying I want more than what I had? I want more opportunities that were afforded to me when I was in school, or I want more, because if we pause, in most cases, today's child is getting a little bit more than what, we got more and what our parents got. The one mistake I believe that they made when they took away a lot of those technical courses that you're talking about, like home economics, brick mason, I think they need to bring those things back. So that was a mistake. So in that regards, I think our parents and some of us, we were afforded a little bit more opportunities. But when we think about, like, trust me, the standards now, you guys, things that were common standards, like that we were introduced to in 8th grade, our students are being introduced to in like 4th and 5th grade.
Yeah.
So they're already getting more, and more could mean they're being challenged more. There are more opportunities. There are more extracurricular activities. There are more clubs. There are more resources. There are more field trips. So, and the school system is a school system. I've been an educator. However, it's not perfect, but there are some advantages. So one, I think sometimes parents need to pause and recognize that their child is already getting more. So that's the first thing. Then the second thing is for those that still feel like, well, I still want them to have more and they can't define it, I think they need to figure out what it is. So instead of just saying, I want my child to have more, I want my child to have this and fill in the blank. I want my child to have this experience. Whatever that is, define it, and then begin to ask questions that can allow that child to fulfill that, which is what you want your child to experience. So for example, a parent recently said to me, I want my child to be able to take classes or be exposed to content that she is ready for. Like if my child comes home every day and is saying that the work is so easy, right? I'm not saying that I want her to skip a grade, but why does she have to go through this whole math unit if she can take the test right now and make it A or make a 100, right? And we have some students like that. Yeah. And I think that that's a logical request. So what that parent is saying is, why does my child have to sit through 3 weeks of this lesson to take a test that she can already pass now? So for my child, can she do something else? Can she do independent study? Can she, during that time, listen to a podcast, and so those are the kinds of things that I think parents need to identify, be able to say what it is they want the end game to be for their child, instead of just saying, I want my child to do more and have more, because more doesn't always mean better.
Yeah, well, that's true too.
And I actually have a question, because with my youngest, the question mark is still with my oldest. But with my youngest, she's a little bit more, like, she knows what she wants. She has her 5-year plan. I asked her what she wants to do. Okay. Versus like, okay, this is what I want you to do. I want you to do this. I want you to do that. Because she's very smart. But she's like very math smart. ELA, yeah. But she comes to me, we sit down and we talk, and she was like, okay, what do I need to do to get into this school? Okay. So she already has like 3 schools that she's looking at. She already has like what she wants to do, done research, made sure that they have her major that she wants.
Good for her.
And I hate to kind of like be on her a lot, like, okay, well, make sure you do this. Well, let's make sure you do that. Since you are an educator and you're around the children that we are taking to school, how does it affect a child when a parent is too hard on them?
Listen, let me tell you something. We know the version of your child that some parents don't know. Okay, and I don't mean that in a bad way.
No,
I mean like,
well, sometimes in a bad way.
Well, sometimes we know. Yes,
well, he don't act like this at home,
right?
No,
yeah. But what I'm getting at is there are teachers that once children know that they, can trust this teacher, they become extremely vulnerable, and they will share their frustrations. They will share their stresses, which is a good thing. I embrace it. I welcome it, because you have to have an outlet, and, a trusted adult is a safe place for these children to share their feelings and their thoughts. But one of the most common expressions we get is children who are frustrated because they feel like their parents are either pushing them too hard, or they're too afraid to tell their parents that, this isn't quite the path that I want. I see it a lot with some boys who are athletes, and they really don't want to be athletes. And they do not want to disappoint their fathers or the male figures in their lives.
I'm gonna tell you,
so they'll stay
and sometimes
and hate it.
Yeah, but I think with that, because I'm around a lot of that. Yeah. Sometimes the kid know that they're not as good as the parent wants them to be. Right. And so they keep going out there because their parents keep making them go out there. For sure. And they're 100% unhappy. And I'm gonna tell you the where I saw that on a show, the last season of All American. It was they had a kid on there that was a football player, and his sister was pushing him to football, and he hated it to the point where if it was about to be a game, he'd have an anxiety attack. Right. So it took for Spencer to kind of come, and he was like, "Yo, you having an anxiety attack?" And he kind of talked him through it, and that's when he found out. He's like, "Man, I hate football," and sometimes what I have found in some kids is just like the guy on the show, he hated football, not because he disliked playing it. Right. It's because of how much pressure his sister put on him that the game stopped being fun. Right. And I think so many parents take the fun out of things. They take the fun out of school. They take the fun out of sports. They take the fun out of, some parents take the fun out of being at the house. Like,
I can understand that.
snatch the fun out of the house. Like when you come home, it's your place of solace. It's the place you want to relax. Amen. It's the place you want to just kick your shoes off and be comfortable. Some kids can't be comfortable in their own house because their parent is on them about something. Right. It's like some parents, if they see them chilling and relaxing for, too long, I need you to get up and do something just because you just been being lazy and doing nothing for a while.
You slept in too long.
Exactly. There's something that I wanted to say, just because in this moment I have this, and it's just been something that I've been thinking about for a while, and I encourage y'all to do this as well. When we were growing up, when we were in school, what was one of the number one questions they asked us? What do you want to be when you grow up? Okay.
Yeah.
And I wish that someone had asked me, who do you want to be when you grow up? Because when you phrase it, what do you want to be when you grow up? We put so much emphasis on a role, a position, a job, or a title. But if we push children and ask them, who do you want to be? It makes them think a little bit differently and deeper about like what impact you want to have. What kind of life do you want to have? And thankfully now, those are the kinds of conversations that I'm having with these 11, 12, 13-year-olds. And they're saying things like, I want to be a leader in my community, or I want to have the flexibility to travel, or I want to be able to, I don't think I want to have children, but I want to be able to like mentor children. And so, or you have some that are saying, I know that I want to make at least $125,000 a year, because they have to understand the concept of like salary. And when you're in third grade and you start with, I want to be a, fill in the blank of whatever role or title, at that time, you're not, you know that it's a position or a job or a role that you might be interested in, but you're not as familiar with the life that surrounds it. And these young people are so ready for these kinds of conversations. So I think it's important to begin to ask, who do you want to be? What kind of impact do you want to have? What kind of lifestyle do you want to have? Where do you want to live? What kind of house you want to live in? Because then that will also help them define and determine what they can be to be who they want to be. So, yeah, and they can handle these conversations. They eat them up.
And I think
Majorly.
I think parents also need to be okay with the answer, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Just be okay with the answer, I don't know.
I had to grow to be like that with my oldest.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I sometimes have to look at my own life and go, I didn't start out to be a teacher. I kind of just ended up in education. I didn't plan it. All I knew is I wanted to help kids to not go down the same paths and make decisions that I made. I did not know it was going to lead me to actually teaching kids. If I go home and tell people, yo, man, they say, what you do? I'm a teacher. I've told them, and they be like, you teaching people children? As much as you hated high school, as bad as your grades were, I was like, yeah, trust me.
I'm shocked at some of the teachers now.
I'm shocked too. But I think we do put too much emphasis on what do they want to be, and putting them in this pressurized box, and then and then some parents fully don't understand. They put pressure on their kid, because I try my hardest not to put pressure on my children.
Right.
But there's pressure put on the kids by us. And then when they get to school, they have to deal with peer pressure. Some of them have to deal with bullying. Some of them have to deal with like just the teachers that want to just be a-holes that day. It's pressures everywhere they look. And sometimes you're trying to figure out, well, why is my child depressed? Or why my child won't talk to me? Well, because every time you talk to them, you're yelling.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why they don't talk to you.
And adding more,
You
And
also have to have-
you're adding more pressure to the pressure they deal with from 8:30 to 3:30.
And you probably started the day with hurry up and get up.
Yeah, and you get up, you gotta go, brush your teeth,
Trust me, we get, yes. The ones that get fussed in the morning,
You can
as
tell.
they're getting out the car, like we can tell, we see it on their faces, they wear it in their shoulders. You have some that will just make a beeline straight to me and just fall in my arms. It's interesting to watch.
You see, I think what I used to do that. I used to yell all the time at my kids. And then I was watching a motivational video. It was something on kids and parenting and stuff like that. And they were like, well, why? The guy asked, if you yell at your kids, why do you yell at your kids? And I go, well, shoot, hell, my parents yelled at me.
Yeah.
And that's how I got going. And it was just like, well, today try a different approach. And just, if you don't want that type of negativity to go through them, then you don't put that in them.
Right.
And you kind of help them. So now, like, I'm very, with the morning time, if your day starts in a positive manner, you're more likely to have a positive day.
For sure.
And so when we got a little ride, we got about a 30-minute ride to drop him off. And so he wants to put his earbuds, everyone, he wants to put his earbuds in and get on his phone and watch whatever. And so I'll tell him no. And it's got a routine now where we play a motivational thing from YouTube on the ride to school.
Look at you.
And then it's something motivational, Eric Thomas, David Goggins. It doesn't matter who it is.
That's so nice.
Whatever comes up.
None of that.
And it just kind of starts the
Never
day.
too late, Nique.
And then we talk. And
I'm not going to do that.
We talk a little bit. What you mean?
How can you? Wait.
No, go ahead. Finish.
We have to come back to that.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, and then we discuss a little bit, and then I let him get on his phone and get into what he's gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm trying to create good habits within him, because I think sometimes we as parents, we don't put on our kids what we do for ourselves in the morning. Like if you need to stop at Starbucks every morning and get you a coffee, hey, stop with your kid. You know what I'm saying? Don't wait to drop them off to go to Starbucks.
Oh, I am.
Hold on. I introduce them
Nique,
into...
I'm trying to have this moment.
No, I'm just saying.
And appreciate the brother's growth.
That's a beautiful thing.
Nah, I ain't doing that.
It's good for you. I love that.
No,
I love that for you.
I
love that for you.
I think that you should introduce your kids into some of the things that get you going in the morning in a positive way, because in their own way, we're teaching them. In their own way, they'll find whatever it is for them as they grow up that's going to make their morning start off on a positive way. That's just my...
Kudos.
Okay.
I love it. And I got to give you a shout out. That's growth for you to acknowledge and name that, you know what, I used to yell at my kids, and I decided to be intentional about making sure that I change like the start of their day. All right. So kudos.
All right.
Okay,
How I
Nique,
start my kids' day? Well, first and foremost, my kids are at my mom's house.
Okay.
Because I felt like both of us were getting up entirely too early just to make a bus at 7:30 at my mom's house. And they both want to go to this school. So, yeah, I'm not getting up at 5:30 in the morning every day to make sure they get over here. They're tired. They're aggravated. I don't like them starting their day like that. So, at my mother's house, both of them have their alarm set at 6:30. They get up. I don't do all that screaming because I don't like hearing the fussing. And my mom never fussed at me, but she didn't care either. So I allow them to move how they're going to move.
Okay.
Because this is your life. I let them live their life how they're going to live their life. If you miss the bus, that's on you. This is your education. This is your life. This is how you see how it's the outcome of it. So I think my youngest, when she wakes up in the morning, she gets dressed, brush her teeth, wash her face, all that, and sits down and watch her favorite show.
Okay.
My oldest, she talks to her little friend, little boyfriend, or whatever she wants him to be.
I remember those days.
And, that's how they start their day. But, I don't like to make their day my day.
Okay. All right.
So they do their thing. I do my thing. I check their location. They're on the bus. This one's here. This one's there. When they get off the bus, I call them, ask them how their day was. Let them, vent for 30 minutes. Ma, guess what happened? I play their friend at that moment, and that's how I...
Okay. So you embrace letting them shape their own day or shape the trajectory of the life that they want for themselves, including, listen, you got to face the logical consequences if, you make some poor choices.
Yeah, you have consequences behind it. Like my daughter, she made a bad choice last year. I was so disappointed to the point where her principal called me, and I think I was on speaker, and I started cursing her out. And I think he had to hurry up and get her off. I was so upset, where I was so disappointed. But when I talked to her principal, he actually sat down and talked to her. And he's my teacher from when I was in high school. So he's like, yeah, I don't let your mom fool you. She gave me a hard time too. But
he wasn't supposed to tell her.
Right. That's what I told her. And even when he called me, I was like, I wasn't as bad, was I? But he said she talked to him a little bit and basically was like she was stressed because she doesn't do well in school.
Okay.
So she was stressed with trying to bring home decent grades. So I wouldn't fuss at her. And not even just me, just like my mom,
right,
her uncle, her dad. And it was just like she felt like, she had a lot of pressure on her shoulders. So from then I was like, you know what? if you need help, I'm okay. It's okay to come to me and say, "Ma, I don't get this. I don't understand this."
Exactly. Y'all got to the root of it.
Yeah.
You know?
And so, that next semester, she left the 9th grade honor roll.
Nice.
Yes.
Kudos
That's
to
good.
you.
That's good.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and in this moment, you just need to acknowledge that there's no one right way to parent.
Right.
I
Not
think
at all.
you just kind of do what works for
you.
you. But do make sure that you acknowledge that the kids are gonna grow up whatever way you put in them. You know, and that's not to you. I'm just talking about to the parents out there listening. However it is that you
That's
choose,
true, though.
however it is
Yeah.
that you choose, whatever you put in them. One of the major questions I got when I stepped away from basketball was, you went to the lower state championship. You had the majority of your team coming back. We thought you'd be coaching forever. Why'd you step away? And I told him, I said, it was two things. I said, one, my daughter cracked a joke. She says, she calls me up and she says, Dad, you spoiled me. And I was like, I did what? I said, what are you talking about? You ain't never been spoiled, not by me. And so she was like, I said, maybe by your mama. And she was like, no. She was like, I can't date a boy shorter than 6 foot because I've only been around basketball players.
Ah.
And she was like, every Christmas, every whatever, we're at a basketball tournament. Every summer, we're at a basketball tournament. So, and she was saying it jokingly. She's
Like this is all she's around.
Yeah. So she's saying it jokingly, and it made me reflect on the season as it went on, because it was the end of the season that we had this conversation. And then there was a game against North Myrtle Beach, tight game, where we end up going to overtime, and we end up winning. And so Amir and Edison would always sit on the bench at the games. And I turn around, and I'm giving everybody 5, and my last 5 would always be to them 2 at the end of the bench. And Amir is crying and shaking.
Wow.
And I'm like, I said, hey, you okay? He said, and he's just, and I'm like, what happened? He said, he said, we almost lost.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, what I'm doing, I'm so into the game.
Right.
And it's made him be so into the game.
And you haven't even acknowledged that.
I haven't even, exactly. And in that moment, so when I talked to my daughter, it took me back to that moment.
Right.
And it made me say, I might need to take some time
Scale
away
it back a little bit.
and to create a balance. And if something comes up later, then I'll do it. But for right now, I need to take some time away and just concentrate on being with my kids.
For sure.
Which led to me rebuilding all the relationships and now having access to all of my kids.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is.
So, and then turn around and end up with a better coaching job,
relationship,
a better
coaching
coaching job than I had the first time.
At a better school.
With an understanding
Had to throw
of
that out there.
creating balance. Well, that's true. It is a better school. But of creating balance, because now I understand that I got to spend time with my kids. I can't ingratiate myself so much into basketball that I don't spend time with my kids and I forget about them. So I've been able, and I know once the season gets here, it's going to be a little tough because it's hard to break bad habits. But I'm going to try my hardest to find a way to
That balance.
to find that balance. But even over the summer, I was able to do that. My daughter, I went and spent time with her, and she lives in Raleigh. So I drove up to Raleigh and spent time with her, and she came down and spent time with us at the house. And so it's just remember that these things are going to, the kids grow up.
They grow up. And it goes back to, it's simple stuff that we were told and taught. Put your priorities in order. That's all it is.
Yeah, that's
prioritizing.
And that's the biggest thing, prioritizing. And then just if you got to plan your stuff out and set alarms and all that stuff,
Do that.
If you got to set an alarm to call your kids every day, set the alarm. So as soon as it goes off, no matter what happens, that's what I do now. I stop, call everybody. Hey, how was your day? And then get off, and then I go back to doing whatever I'm doing. So just remember that however you're navigating, the kids are going to grow up, and then it's just what memories are they going to have. And like that memory of my daughter, like that she had, albeit playfully.
Right. Because it wasn't really about her saying that it wasn't about the whole boyfriend thing. It was about
It was experience.
the fact that she was able to associate a lot of her time with you being
Basketball.
Basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was, and then don't let me have gone on a basketball trip to somewhere nice and she didn't go. She was
Right.
like, she's like, hey,
Oh, I could go to the little
she was like,
local game.
no, she said, no, she went on a lot of trips, but she never went with me and the team to Orlando. So she goes,
Gotcha.
I've never been to Orlando with the team. I'm like, all right. But, you know, I
love
digress.
that. That's great. That's great that you identified there was a issue. and you took a step back and was like, you know what, my kids need me more.
Yeah. Well, and I think I needed them more.
Oh, that's dope. Oh, you
think-
made me cry.
No.
You know I'm already emotional.
No, seriously, I didn't realize, like, when I reconnected with my daughter, we talked for like an hour and a half. It's the first conversation since she's been like 6. And the thing was, she says, Dad, I'm not mad at all. She was like, it's just where we go from here. What are you going to do from this point forward?
Such maturity.
And she was like, I don't care about the past. She's like, I'm not angry. She was like, there's only 2 things. There's only one thing we can't talk about. And I was like, what's that? My mama.
Okay.
She
That's
was
fair.
like,
respect.
She was like, outside of that, we could talk about whatever. We could go and do whatever. She was like, and I'm just happy to say one thing. And I was like, what's that? I told my friend the other day, man, my dad be tripping. I've been wanting to say that all my life.
Oh, she said it. She just didn't say it again.
Yeah.
She said it to somebody.
She said, I've been wanting to say that all my life. So it's just, I didn't know how much I needed them
Gotcha.
to really appreciate, you know, just being, you know what I mean? Just
Right.
life and living and knowing that you're going to get older and there's going to be a time in which, you
They
know.
got to take care of you.
Exactly.
That's the thing. Like, and that's what I think most parents don't think about. Are you parenting your kids in a way in which when you're
To
old
parent you.
and decrepit, they going to have to parent you?
Right.
And not
Yep.
just throw you in a home or not just forget about you or whatever. Are you parenting them to be able to come back?
That'll preach. That's a whole nother show.
Yep. See,
Bring the
that goes back to like when so many people were like, I push my kids to be grown. No.
push them.
I don't push them
away.
to be grown. I push them to be able to take care of themselves. I teach them to cook, to take care, because they smell so funny, especially that oldest one.